Hey everyone, Steven here from Adolescence. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining me on another video. I got a really exciting one for you guys today. This one is a video that has been requested of me for a while now, so I'm really happy to be bringing it to you. But it's also one of the more difficult videos that I had to put together. These are my top 10 favorite fragrances that I like to smell on a woman. Some of these I own in my personal collection. I find them to be a little unisex. Some of them actually belong to my fiance. So what I can say about all of these fragrances is I have smelled all of them on a woman, and they've all for the most part been entrancing, mesmerizing, hypnotizing, alluring. It's just, I love every single one of these 10 scents. So I'm really excited to bring this list to you. So for my women subscribers, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you might discover a scent that you've never heard of before that might encourage you to go out there and try it out or smell it in store. Maybe it might result in you buying a new fragrance for yourself. And for the male subscribers watching this video, maybe you might find a new fragrance for your wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever she may happen to be. A few things that I want to mention before I get into the video is this is just my list. Of course, I'm not looking online in magazines or on websites or forums to try to bring you the top 10, but these are fragrances that I have personally smelled, many of which I own and wear, and for that reason, these are more personal to me, so just take that with a grain of salt. These are just recommendations going off of my personal preference. But also these are fragrances that are a mix of both designer and niche. So some of them are going to be on the pricey point, some of them are going to be on the inexpensive side, so just keep that in the back of your mind as well. I didn't make a distinction between designer and niche just because I own more men's fragrances than I do women's fragrances, so it would be really hard for me to make a top 10 only designer, top 10 only niche. Before I start off with the list, I do want to give a few honorable mentions. There are a lot of women's fragrances out there that I have smelled that I absolutely love, but I just do not own in my collection, and I haven't gotten around to purchasing for myself. These are Narciso Rodriguez For Her, the one in the pink and black bottle, composed by Francis Kurkdjian. I love that one. Beautiful musky scent. I also like Nina Ricci, the one that in the apple bottle, the red bottle. I love that one as well. I also like Hypnotic Poison by Dior, the Annick Minardo composition with it contains almonds. Beautiful scent. There's also one by Elizabeth and James called Nirvana Black. That's a beautiful scent as well. Black Orchid by Tom Ford, and I'm sure the list can go on and on. I also like the Bulgari scents, the Omnia line. I think there are some really great offerings, high quality as well. So just a few honorable mentions before I delved into the list. Make sure you go ahead and check those out. Oh, and lastly, B by Balenciaga. That is a beautiful scent too. For me, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue, so you might have to sample them both to see which one you might prefer. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start off with my number 10. And my number 10 is a scent that I'm actually really passionate about because it's very nostalgic, and to me it brings back memories of when I was, believe it or not, in elementary school. Why is that? Because all of my elementary school and high school crushes actually wore this scent. This one has been around for a long time. The perfumer for this one is Annie Bouzantian, and this is a Victoria's Secret scent, and it goes by the name Pink. I'm sure every female viewer who's watching my channel has smelled this one. Perhaps you might have even owned this one. But what I like about this one is that it does have a very youthful quality to it. It is a little bit more on the floral side. I believe it contains gardenia and freesia and juniper berry and lily of the valley. So it is a little bit on the floral side, but there's a sweet undertone to kind of give this really nice counterbalance between the two facets of the composition. Really great scent, perfect casual scent. My only qualm with it is that it doesn't really last a long time. You can feel comfortable spraying this on clothes without fearing that it's going to stain your clothing, but the projection and the longevity on this one are a little bit on the poor side, so just keep that in mind. And of course, it's so inexpensive that you can afford to carry it around. It has been reformulated several times, so if you're buying this in 2015, of course that would be very different from you purchasing this in the 90s or perhaps when it first came out. Number 10 on my list, Pink by Victoria's Secret. Number 9 on my list is, of course, another favorite of mine, hence the reason why all of these are on my top 10 list, but this one I actually bought for myself. Now, I'm not going to lie, my fiance does sneak a spray from time to time. She actually did steal this one from me, as well as a few other fragrances from this house. I'll tell you what they are if you're interested. But this one is from a house called Bond Number 9, and they have a very unique concept where their fragrances smell like different parts of New York. So there's one called New Harlem, which is named after the city of Harlem. There's one called Central Park West, which of course is supposed to smell like Central Park. It's a little bit on the floral side. That's actually the one that my fiance stole from me. And my favorite for women from this house, among others, but definitely my favorite, is one called Chinatown. Now this is a beautiful bottle. It has blossoms on the front and on the back, different color, same color palette but inverted. What I like about this one, beautiful composition by O'Hely and Gouchard, is that it strays away from the traditional fruity florals. So a lot of you might know that fruity florals are typically either peach or apricot, and the floral component is either jasmine or gardenia, which is a fantasy note, so in reality it's really jasmine. What this one has is peach blossom. So it's floral, but it's inherently fruity at the same time, and it smells different from other competing scents, if you will, in the industry. This is a beautiful scent that is also spicy as well. So it's a spicy floral with a fruity mid-tone. The spice that's used in this one is called cardamom, which is used in a lot of Asian cuisines, and it does give it a culinary overtone. It's a little powdery at the same time, but not so much so that you're gonna have an aversion to it or something if you don't like powdery scents. This one is actually very wearable. This is a very sophisticated, kind of upscale sort of a scent, but if you can afford it, I don't see why you can't wear this casually. Again, you know, it is a little bit on the pricier side, but I think it's a fantastic scent. What an amazing smell. Number 8 on my list is another one that I absolutely love. This one is actually on the sweeter side, so if you're not a fan of sweet scents, you might want to fast forward past this one, but hopefully I can open your mind up to it. Just try to keep an open mind. This one, many of you are probably familiar with the brand. Women might actually be more familiar with this brand than men would. This one is by Lolita Lempicka, and this fragrance is called El de Lolita Lempicka. Now, this one is actually done by one of my favorite perfumers, who happens to be Maurice Roussel, and anybody who knows Maurice Roussel knows that he is the genius or the king of making sweet, gourmand scents. This one is very confectionery, delectable. It has a prominent cinnamon note. It also has vanilla, I believe a little bit of tonka bean, even though it might not be listed as a note. But this scent also contains a note of Immortelle. And Immortelle can be used rather strongly in some sense, like New Harlem by Bond No. 9, Eau Noir by Christian Dior, which is this bottle right here. And it gives off a maple syrup kind of vibe. But this scent, it is very modest in its use of Immortelle, so it's not going to come off super sticky or sickeningly sweet, but it is on the sweeter side, so definitely make sure to check it out. It's not like an Aquilina's Pink Sugar where it smells like cotton candy or anything like that, so it is a little bit mature, but it's still very sweet. So I like that. You're going to see a trend here. A lot of these are going to be a little bit on the sweeter side, but I absolutely love this one, El de Lolita Lempicka. Number 7 on my list is one that I encountered, I want to say a good 5 years ago or so. This has also been a very successful scent, and it actually prompted and warranted me to go out and purchase the men's counterpart of this, and surprisingly, they're both done by the same perfumer, Olivier Polch, and the men's version actually ended up being my favorite designer scent of all time. There's like, it's in the running for like 2 or 3 other scents to be my favorite designer scent. And this one, I can see why women love this one. I gravitate towards this one as well. I bought a bottle for my fiance. She doesn't wear it as often, which is a shame, but doesn't change the fact that it's one of my favorites. And this one is by Viktor and Rolf, and it's called Flower Bomb. I'm sure you've heard of this one as well if you've been in Macy's or Sephora or Nordstrom. I'm sure you've encountered a sales associate who is trying to spray this all over you. And what I like about Flower Bomb is that the name is a little bit deceptive. You think flower bomb, you think it's going to be an explosion of florals, but it's really not. It's floral, but it has that nice counterweight, just like the other fragrance that I just mentioned, because you do have that sweetness in the dry down, so it's not floral in the conventional, traditional way. It's not like Chanel's No. 5, which is incredibly floral and aldehydic and gives off a mature feel. This one has a very youthful presence to it, and I love it for that reason. You know, I try to encourage my fiance to wear it more often. I can't really sway her too much. All right. Number 6 on my list is a fragrance that I think is one of the most intoxicating and mesmerizing smells, and it's a rather simple, summery composition, go figure. But there's something about this scent that I absolutely love. I gravitate towards this so much, and it has spawned a lot of other fragrances in the market that have almost become replicas of it, and I'll mention some of them in case you're interested. This one is by Dolce & Gabbana, and it's called Light Blue. What I like about this scent is that it's the perfect blend of florals, woods, and fruits. You have lemon, you have apple, you have cedarwood in the base. Cedarwood is probably one of my favorite woods, right next to agarwood. And there's just this beautiful floral component to it as well. It's fresh, it's clean, it's citrusy, it's summery, but the blend of those ingredients is just done oh so well. This is definitely one of my favorite scents. I love it every time my fiance wears this one, and she's currently on her second bottle. She wears this one a lot. So definitely make sure to check this out. Number 5 on my list, we're getting into the top 5 now. This next one is a heavy hitter. I actually bought this one for myself, but my fiance did wear it once, and man, I could not stop smelling her the whole day. I was following her around the house the whole time. And this one is a little bit on the more pricey side, and this one is from the house of Christian Dior. This is from their La Collection Privée line, their private collection, and the scent is called Fève Délicieuse. The name translates to delicious bean, and oh my god, this scent is so amazing. You have tonka bean just done so well, so naturally. You have cacao pod, you have vanilla, you have caramel, you have praline, just every sweet note that you can imagine. Just imagine it being the most masterfully blended amalgamation of all those notes. Such a brilliant composition by François de Machy. This is a fragrance you absolutely must try. You have to check this one out. Such a great scent. So happy to have it in my collection. I wear this more than anything. This is quickly in the ranking for being my favorite Dior Privé, right next to the other two, which are Bois d'Argent and Eau Noire. But man, I cannot say enough good things about this one. Getting into my number 4. Okay, I'm really excited about this next one because I seem to be the only one who likes this. I don't know why. I came across this scent in Sephora and I felt head over heels in love with this scent the moment I smelled it. And I've let other women smell this, like my fiance, my brother's girlfriend, my mother, a few other girls that I know, and none of them seem to say anything positive about it. As a matter of fact, they had an aversion to it, which is very strange because I find this scent to be so amazing. I guess it is a little bit on the mature side, not as in old, but as in sophisticated, you know, kind of like not necessarily business-like, but this is a scent that I would recommend for a woman who knows what she's doing, knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to go out there and chase it and go after it. This is by Kate Walsh, and it's called Boyfriend. Now, this one has the note of myrrh, and myrrh is an incense note, so I can see why some women don't like this one, but for me at least, the myrrh that's used in this scent is of the sweeter variety. There's a bitter myrrh, which kind of has like a rubbery smell to it, but there's a sweet myrrh, which is called a Papanax, and it gives off a very sweet smell. Now, if you're thinking incensey, you might be a little bit misguided because a lot of times when we think of incense, we think of the smoke that is wafting off the incense stick or cone. This one, on the other hand, is sweet and it has an ambery base to it. So it's sweet and resinous, and it has the note of plum in the mid as well. It's such an amazing scent. My only disclaimer about this one is there is a flanker on the market called Billionaire Boyfriend. Just be cautious as a consumer. This is the one that I absolutely love. I don't like the Billionaire Boyfriend version. So if you're looking for it, make sure you check this one. It's the darker colored, the orange juice on the inside. What an amazing scent. I can't say enough good things about it. Getting into my top 3, this is very exciting for me. I love these 3 to death. If I smell these on a woman, I go crazy. You may have heard of some of these. Definitely, one of them you definitely did hear of. So let's go ahead and get into it. My number 3. My number 3 can be found online for a cheaper price, which is one of the plus in this. It is a niche fragrance, so it's a little bit on the more expensive variety. I believe if you're going for a brand new bottle, it ranges anywhere between $120 to $140, unless you buy one of their exclusives. But if you're buying the 50 milliliter size like the one that I have, you can actually find this for a really good deal online. This one is from the house of Serge Lutens, and it's called Chergui. Chergui, this scent is made to kind of mimic or replicate the Moroccan desert air, and it has tobacco, amber, and a very unique note of hay. It's kind of a powdery scent, so it's a little bit on the mature side. It's a very sophisticated scent. This one, I guess, it could be worn in all occasions, but I would recommend wearing it in more upscale, high-end occasions. Some of these are casual, like I found pink to be very casual, like blue to be very casual. Even to a degree, I find flower bomb to be very casual. This one is on the more upscale variety. So if you're going to a wedding, you're going to a formal occasion, you're going to be in a nice dress, highly recommend you check out Chirigui by Serge Lutens. I'm going to leave all the names in the description section below, so please make sure to check that out, just in case you want to, you know, if I mispronounce something and, you know, you just couldn't understand what I said. Alright, getting into my top 2 favorite scents of all time for women for 2015. Number 2 is not a stranger to anyone. Everybody knows this one. If you don't, you've probably been living under a rock. This is one of my absolute favorites of all time, and I remember smelling this one for many, many years. Probably I first smelled this one like 10 years ago, which is a little scary to think of it now. But this one is, of course, not a fragrance without accolades. It actually won the Fifi Hall of Fame Award in 2007, so this has been a very successful scent, and for very good reason, but it does have a polarity to it as well. Some people either love it or they hate it, and it's because of its use of the note of patchouli. And this one, from the house of Thierry Mugler, is called Angel. Now, there are many different versions of Angel. There is an Eau Sucrée version, which has like a sugary overtone. There is a leather version, Le Perfumes de Cuir, I believe it's called. I like the original. The original is patchouli and caramel and vanilla and chocolate and coconut and spun sugar or cotton candy. What an amazing scent. But it's really the patchouli that turns some people off. The patchouli in this one is a little bit earthy. Some would even go as far as calling it dirty. So if you like patchouli, you're going to fall head over heels in love with this one. There's no question about it. But if you don't like patchouli, even remotely, I would recommend staying away from this one. So it does have that polarity about it. But nonetheless, this is one of my favorite smells. Geez, every time I smell it, it just drives me crazy. So it's such an amazing scent. Definitely make sure to check it out. You can find it at Sephora, Macy's. Every fragrance counter should have this one. And lastly, we're getting into my number 1. Funny story behind this one. I actually smelled this one a while ago, and I knew immediately that it so much better than all of these. It just surpassed my expectations, and the smell is such a great smell. And I had my fiance smell it. We were in the mall one day and we were passing by the counter, and I didn't say anything to her. I didn't say that I really liked it. And I had her smell it, and immediately she fell in love with it as well. So there's something about this scent that is just so hypnotizing and mesmerizing and alluring, and I can't use enough adjectives to describe it. And we actually ended up buying it, and she has not worn it once. 1, because she's afraid of running out, but 2, she wants to wait to wear it for her first time on her wedding day. So this is a very special scent for both of us, and it's my favorite out of all of these scents. I could live with the atomizer of the scent under my nose for the rest of my life. This scent is from the house of Creed, and it's called Acqua Fiorentina. The name of this scent translates to Florentine water. So of course it was inspired by Italy a little bit. This, imagine Dolce & Gabbana light blue, but 10 times better and much more natural smelling. That's what you get. You have a lot of the same notes. You have lemon, you have cedarwood, you have apple, you have a little bit of bergamot, you have some floral components to it as well. I believe jasmine, maybe even a little bit of gardenia, and a sandalwood base. Oh my God, this scent is absolutely amazing. I mean, every time I smell it, I daydream. I go into a trance, and then I have to snap myself out of it. Such a great scent. Again, these are just my recommendations. Don't blind buy any of these. Don't go on a website and just purchase these just because they're in my list. Make sure you go to the store, go to Neiman's, go to Saks, go to Macy's, Sephora. Check these out for yourself. There is a little bit of for everyone here. You have the very floral and fruity ones, and you have the very sweet and patchouli ones, and then you have the very casual ones. So just because it's on my list doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna like it, but this is my personal list. These are my top 10 favorite fragrances for women. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you own or have tried any of these fragrances, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos. So again, everyone, thank you very much for watching. This has been Steven with another video from Red Essence. We'll see you soon.